scores and possibly hundreds of civilians have been stabbed and hacked to death in the northern Ethiopian region of Tigray.
I can't really just sleep. So, and now the problem that we want to kind of share with you is the certain things that is really kind of getting late. Like the way that we are trying to maybe take certain, by the time we are trying to do the right thing, there are already 50,000 people dying.
Yep.
Now, it's one thing that this issue stops, right? So like, it's maybe like there's some, I think the Tigray government is now saying that they are in charge. However, there are refugee disasters and what's happening in these refugee camps. And I'm going to share some of the news with everyone so that they can see these issues. So, all right. This is about, it's already affecting more than 2 million people, right?
Yep.
So, and a lot of minors, and this is bad. I mean, this is like child labor, child prostitution, like kidnapping. It's a disaster, and the United Nations is not there yet because they don't have access. Now, Dr. you have your extended family members there. Were you able to talk to them? This is about 2 months now, right? November, early November.
Absolutely. So I was able to talk to family members in the main capital of Tigray, Mekelle. In other places where actually most of my extended family are, like in Adwa, I have not been able to reach them yet. So I do not know what has happened to them. You know, Kamal, it's important to understand here that until November 4, when the Ethiopian army and the Eritrean army attacked Tigray, Tigray was inhabited by a people who were governed by laws administered by a government that the people of Tigray have elected. They had a structure in which people lived, children went to school, students went to college, people worked in factories and industries, patients went to functioning hospitals, people farmed their land, right? There was a border. So people were living a life which was probably the most stable in that region, right? And I talked about the fact that it was the most stable, and one of the key evidences is that that region was actually able to conduct an election during the coronavirus around September of last year, where 2.4 million people actually voted, right? And they were able to conduct that election taking all the precautions of the coronavirus. In fact, they were one of the earlier regions to adopt a very wide public health campaign to protect people from the coronavirus by teaching them about face masks, social distancing, and hand washing. And they said that they were able to do that in the election at the same time. They said we can walk and chew gum at the same time, and they were able to do that. In fact, one of the main issues that arose between the government of Tigray and the federal government of Abiy Ahmed was this issue about elections. One thing that people do not know about Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Kamal, is that he came to power through backroom deals. He was never elected. There was no election held where he emerged victorious. So when he decided that because of the coronavirus was going to postpone the election due in May of last year, right, the government in Tigray opposed that. They opposed it because they say, first of all, we can do an election, right? We cannot really extend our mandate through our own decision. It's the people who have to decide. Secondly, there is even more a reason for you to have to do that because you were never elected. You came to power in the middle of a situation where you were never elected. So, just to finish that, Kamal, not only he was not elected, Mr. Abiy Ahmed was not elected, but he prevented the government of Tigray from conducting its own elections. They said, at the end, the government of Tigray said, okay, you do not want to hold the federal elections? Well, we as a regional government cannot extend our mandate without the people saying so, and they went ahead and conducted an election. So a region that was stable enough to conduct a very valid election during the height of coronavirus was a stable region. Compare that with the headlines that you just showed me. Refugees fleeing in their thousands, internal displacement of millions of people, property destroyed, public establishments vandalized. By whom? Not only by the Ethiopian army, but by an invading foreign army as well. The Eritrean army is wreaking havoc inside Tigray. There are reports not only of killing, looting, vandalization, but also rape, things we have not heard since Rwanda and Bosnia at a scale that is unimaginable, Kamal, right? So a region with that stability just 2.5 to 3 months ago has been turned into a total nightmare by the government of that region, as well by invading army that was invited by that government. The Eritrean troops in Tigray are accountable to no one. Of course, they were not elected by, they were not part of an elected government in Ethiopia or in Tigray. They are foreign, and they are coming and wreaking havoc because they have no accountability, right? For all accounts, they may not even be paid by their own governments, and the looting that they have been asked to undertake, maybe the payment for their services, in fact, looting of many things from Tigray and then taking it in Eritrea is happening, and there are witnesses talking about it. So a region that was stable by its own regional government now has been attacked by the federal government. The regional government of Tigray is not there, obviously, because the armies of Ethiopia and Eritrea have been able to occupy the capital, right? But there is no law and order. The people are suffering.